The President of Romania is the head of state of Romania. The President is directly elected by a two-round system for a 5-year term. An individual may serve 2 terms. During his/her term in office, the President may not be a member of any political party. The office of President was created in 1974, when Communist leader Nicolae Ceausescu elevated the presidency of the State Council to a full-fledged executive presidency. It gradually took its current form in stages after the Romanian Revolution, culminating with the adoption of Romania's current constitution in 1991. The current President of Romania is Klaus Iohannis, since the 21st of December 2014. Communist era. In the Communist era, the President was elected for a term of 5 years by the Great National Assembly, with no term limits. He served as ex officio President of the State Council, and had the right to act on any matter that didn't require a State Council plenum. He also appointed and dismissed ministers and heads of central agencies. When the GNA was not in session, the President could appoint and dismiss the President of the Supreme Court and the Prosecutor General without State Council approval. Indeed, he was not even required to consult his State Council colleagues when making such decisions. Ceausescu created the post in order to make himself chief decision-maker in both name and in fact. Previously, he had nominally been first among equals on the State Council, deriving his real power from his post as leader of the Romanian Communist Party. In practice, he used his power to act on all matters that didn't require a plenum to rule by decree, and frequently usurped many powers that belonged to the State Council as a whole. Oath of office. After the Constitutional Court acknowledges the legality of the election, the Houses of Parliament meet in a joint session. The elected President takes the following oath of office, specified by Article 82 of the Constitution. Romanian. Jur sami dawi este o atăputria si prispria pentru propăsare spirituală si materială a poporului roman. Sa respect Constituția si legalitate, sa repa democrata, drepturile si libertatea fundamental al cetățenilor, suveranitatea independentă, unitatea si integritatea teritorială a României. Așa sami adjure Dumnezeu. English. I solemnly swear that I will dedicate all my strength and the best of my ability for the spiritual and material welfare of the Romanian people, to abide by the Constitution and laws of the country, to defend democracy, the fundamental rights and freedoms of my fellow citizens, Romania's sovereignty, independence, unity and territorial integrity. So help me God. Powers and duties. The prerogatives of the President of Romania are set out in Title II, Chapter 3 of the Constitution. In internal affairs, representing the Romanian state and safeguarding of the national independence, unity and territorial integrity of the country, guarding the observance of the Constitution and the functioning of public authorities, designating and appointing the Prime Minister, subject to parliamentary approval, appointing and removing ministers on the proposal of the Prime Minister, consulting the government on major policy matters, presiding the meetings of the government, debating upon matters of national interest with regard to foreign policy, the defense of the country, insurance of public order, and, at the Prime Minister's request, in other instances as well, addressing messages to Parliament on issues of national interest, promulgating bills, summoning the Houses of Parliament after a legislative election, requesting the convocation of an extraordinary session of Parliament, dissolving Parliament, calling referendums, in foreign affairs, concluding international treaties negotiated by the government and submitting them to Parliament for ratification, on proposal by the government, accrediting and recalling diplomatic envoys, receiving letters of credence from foreign diplomatic envoys, approving the setting up, closing down, a change in rank of diplomatic missions. In defense issues, exerting the role of Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, presiding over the Supreme Council of National Defense, declaring mobilization of the armed forces, subject to prior approval of Parliament, taking measures to repel armed aggression towards the country, instituting the state of siege of the state of emergency. Other duties, conferring decorations and titles of honor, making promotions to superior military ranks, making appointments to public officers as provided by law, granting individual pardons. In the exercise of his functions, the President issues decrees which are obligatory in the country. The decrees issued by the President of Romania in the exercise of his powers, as provided under Article 91 paragraphs and Article 92 paragraphs and Article 93 paragraph and Article 94 subparagraphs A, B, and D, must be countersigned by the Prime Minister in order to take effect. Impeachment. An incumbent president who severely violates the Constitution may be suspended by the Parliament in joint session. If the suspension motion passes, there is a call for a referendum of impeachment within no more than 30 days from the suspension. If the Senate and Chamber of Deputies in joint session accuse the President of high treason, the President is suspended from powers and duties by right. The accusations are judged by the High Court of Cassation and Justice. The incumbent president is dismissed by right if found guilty of high treason. History. The suspension and impeachment procedure has been implemented 3 times. The first time regarded President Ion Iliescu, following a statement regarding the returning of the illegally confiscated properties during the years of the Socialist Republic of Romania to the original owners of their heirs. This first attempt in 1995 did not pass the vote in Parliament. The second attempt was successful, with the person suspended being Traian Băsescu, in office as of April 2007. He became the first president to successfully be suspended and also the first to face an impeachment vote before the people, regarding issues with supposed unconstitutional acts. The impeachment plebiscite was held on the 19th of May 2007, and Băsescu survived the impeachment attempt. The result was the rejection of the proposal by 24.94% in favor to 75.06% opposed. The third attempt led to a second successful suspension in July 2012, again against Traian Băsescu. The referendum was held on the 29th of July 2012, and the results were 88.7% in favor and 11.3% opposed, with voter turnout calculated to be 46.24%, below the 50% plus 1 vote threshold required at the time the referendum was held. The Constitutional Court did not give a verdict on the validation of the referendum at the time, citing her irregularities in the permanent electoral lists. On the 21st of August, the court deemed the referendum invalid, and again Băsescu prevailed from being ousted. Succession. Should the office of the president become vacant due to resignation, impeachment, permanent inability to perform the duties of office, or death, the President of the Senate or the President of the Chamber of Deputies, in that order, step in as ad interim President of Romania. Neither relinquish the position as President of the respective legislative house for the duration of the ad interim term. An ad interim President cannot address the Parliament, dissolve the Parliament, nor call for a referendum. The vacancy of the office cannot be longer than 3 months. While the President is suspended, the office is not considered vacant. List. Latest election. Living former heads of state. There are 3 living former Romanian presidents and 1 living former King of Romania.